Welcome to Reddit News. Like and subscribe or this will eat your cookies. r/AskReddit News. What's an unfun fact? As dead bodies decay, they burp or release gases. For this reason, caskets and mausoleums need to be ventilated so the gas can escape. Chickens do this too. I had a hen die of a presumed heart attack. As I moved it from the coop, it let out loud chicken noise that gave me an outer body experience. Depends on what you find as fun, but King Henry VIII exploded in his coffin while the grave was being dug. The mess was cleared up by stray dogs. Buildup of gases in his body, I'm assuming? Correct. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you, and they eat half of what you eat. People used to consume them on purpose to lose weight. Was not expecting so many worm comments. That brain-eating amoebas exist at all, and is also pretty commonly found in freshwater ponds and lakes. Apparently only 4 people have survived getting it in the last 50 years. I have a friend that got LASIK eye surgery, and then squiggly line 2 months after she started getting eye pain and was losing her vision. Somehow a flesh-eating amoeba got into her eye via the eye flap left over from the surgery, and started eating her cornea. She was in serious pain and eventually lost all sight. Seems like they managed to kill off the amoeba, and then she got a cornea transplant. Curiosity got the better of me after literally 20k plus upvotes and a gazillion comments of her being foolish for not following protocol, so I double checked with her. She said she'd been invited to go lazy river kayaking, open parentheses, just a few blow-up kayaks and light drinking on a slow river, clothes parentheses. 2.5 months after her surgery, had called her surgeon to ask if it was safe, and he said she should be fine as normally the outer layer heals after 5-ish weeks, and to just be safe. Nothing harrowing happened on the kayak trip. She tried her best to not actually let her head go underwater, but she had been splashed in the face a few times, and that had to have been it. She was just extremely unlucky and found out that at some point after the surgery the flap hadn't settled in the perfectly correct position, and there was the tiniest opening. It wasn't her fault, nor the surgeon's fault, just an incredibly unlucky experience, and she often catches herself reminiscing, what if I'd never gotten the surgery in the first place? But she clarified that her experience was super rare and tons of people get successful LASIK and should still consider it if they wanted to. I got LASIK eye surgery. One of the things they told us to do is to not go swimming after surgery until a few months. Now I know why. Another thing you shouldn't do is parachuting. At one point, the army was doing a lot of LASIK eye surgery, and then when the airborne guys would jump out of the planes, the wind would tear the flap back open. Fossilization is actually quite rare. It takes a very specific set of circumstances for something to even become a fossil, let alone have it survive to the modern day. This means there are likely millions of species of animals, plants, and other organisms that we will simply never know about because they either A. never fossilized, B. their fossils were destroyed, open parentheses, either naturally or by humans, close parentheses. C. The fossils are in an area not easily accessible to humans, like at the bottom of the ocean or under the ice in Antarctica. For all we know, there could have been an advanced civilization that existed before human, but we may never know about them because any trace of their existence has been lost to time. Kinda makes you wonder if we're gonna end up that way. I'll give you 2. The most common cause of death for tall people is a heart attack, brought on by the fact that their hearts just naturally have to work harder than average to circulate all that blood through that larger body. Left-handed people are more likely to die in an accident involving a power tool, because they're all designed by right-handed people, for right-handed people. I'm tall, open parentheses, 6 foot 6.5 inches, or 1.98 meters, close parentheses. And I'm left-handed. Which one will it be for me? Yay. My first ever award. I got a yikes. Thank you, Genus Redditor. The most upvotes I've ever had by far. And now 4 awards. Thank you, fellow Redditors. How tall is tall? I'm 6 feet and left-handed, so I'm at the same risk. Open parentheses, albeit less so than you, close parentheses. The more your height is above the national/world average, the higher your risk, I would assume. There's a planet where it rains molten glass, horizontally, at 5,400 miles per hour, or 8,700 kilometers per hour. Doesn't it rain diamonds on Jupiter or something? I don't remember which planet, but I remember reading that. I want to go to Jupiter and play a claw game. Your voice on recordings is actually how your voice really sounds. Your voice in your head is a bit muffled and deeper, because the sound travels through your head instead of the air. That's why it feels weird to hear your own voice recorded. Edit: Actually, you recorded voice is a bit high-pitched. It takes a very good microphone to capture your real voice, but the one in your head is, most of the time, way off. In my head, I sound like Keanu Reeves, but in my recordings, I sound like walrus squeaking. Loads of people have their ashes scattered at Disneyland. The place is essentially one giant haunted house. Most of them just get hoovered up and dumped though. If I remember correctly, some places build up ashes which they have to vacuum like under rides or something, and it was becoming a problem. You know when you search for businesses and you see the maps and get directions and stuff? The companies aren't necessarily the best companies. They just paid a lot of money to pop up when you search for them. I know because it's my job to manipulate the search. Lots of good companies have the budget to show up, but unfortunately, so do unethical companies. During World War I, the British intelligence service created a propaganda campaign that said the Germans were boiling their dead to extract fat and produce nitroglycerin to replenish their dwindling supply. This lie was exposed after the war, and there was a considerable amount of public outrage. When similar reports came back of the atrocities that the Nazis were committing during World War II, most people dismissed them because of the boy who cried wolf situation 20 years earlier, and really damaged the public opinion of the war, which no one wanted to repeat in the first place. Reputation is easily lost and hard to gain. The hyena's bite has a pressure of 1,100 pounds per square inch, open parentheses, 76 kilogram per square centimeter, or 760 newtons per square centimeter, close parentheses. And a tiger does not have enough bite force to break the human femur. One of the few animals that does is the jaguar with 200 psi. The sun is becoming hotter, and in about 1 billion years, the oceans will boil off and our atmosphere will be unable to sustain any form of life. What if we take the planet and push it somewhere else? Push! There is a sunken boat in the English Channel near where I used to live called the SS Richard Montgomery. It is filled with live dynamite, and, if disturbed, will explode, causing flooding in most of London and killing hundreds of people. Nothing has been done about it because American authorities claim the ship has been extracted safely and is no longer there, claiming to have photographic evidence as well as a receipt. It is still there to this day, and every day hundreds of ships pass the nearly sunk masts. A single mistake could mean catastrophe for London and the southeast of England. Welp, you know my plans. I live on Canvey Island and spent my whole childhood terrified about the SS Richard Montgomery, knowing as a kid that at any time my whole town could end up underwater. We learned about the floods in 1953 at school, and being the inquisitive child I was, I decided to read more into our flood defenses and whatnot. Terrifying reading. According to quantum mechanics, there's a small chance the whole universe will suddenly disappear in the next 5 seconds. Also, there's a small chance in the universe, the Earth, all the people, the buildings, whatever device you are reading this from, your posts, the replies, the whole internet, your knowledge of everything, your personality, your memories, your existence, etc., was created just 1 second ago. I find stuff like this fascinating. Like it could all just end and no one would know, and it could happen at any moment. Bananas are slightly radioactive. Yes, 42,000 bananas in an hour will give you radiation poisoning. IIRC. I know what I'm doing in lockdown. Forget the Tide Pod challenge. I'm trying the banana poisoning challenge. The moon is slowly moving away from the Earth, meaning in the future people will only be able to see a small light. Saturn's rings wilts beautiful. We were created by Saturn literally ripping an icy moon apart, causing the pieces to spread out forming a ring. After a while, large bits of debris pulled in lesser bits and formed the moons that carved out the lines. Jupiter's eye is shrinking, meaning the red spot will one day be gone. The star known as Betelgeuse, can never spell it, will have or at some point will go supernova, and we'll see that after the light reaches here, it'll light up the sky as bright as day for a while. Okay. I don't know unfun facts. A wandering black hole with sufficient mass could easily pull the sun and or any planets away from their normal orbits. And these particular black holes wander, hence their names. So one could pass by at any time and we would be screwer. For the moon fact, once the moon absorbs enough rotational energy from the Earth that they are both tidally locked, it will stop moving away. Both will be consumed by the sun before this happens though. Indeed it will. But that won't happen for a long time, and hopefully by then we have Star Trek logic and can colonize other planets. Strawberries and blueberries probably have worms in them, but we just don't notice them when we eat them, because they are really small and have no taste. BuzzFeed demonstrates by soaking strawberries in salt water. You're welcome. You too have seen that TikTok. Broccoli too. Free protein.